Patricia identified the surgical scar and the tennis shoe and sock as the type Norman usually wore.
Hey, morning, people.
But
I know yesterday we had lots of interruptions on doing the commission, and I'm very sorry about that. Like, I had animal interference, I had commissioner interference. I also had my role play partner was also messaging me too. Um, but it's early now, and it's on a Saturday morning, so most people are sleeping in. So my messengers and stuff will be relatively quiet. So I figured while everybody was in bed, still sleeping in because it's the weekend, I would just go ahead, jump on here, and do a video, and let you sit here and watch me color. As you can see, I got one of the wolves pretty almost completely detailed out. And I worked on it for a couple hours last night, just on her. If you hear meowing in the background, don't fret. Adelaide's fine. She's just in a crate, and she doesn't like being in a crate because she likes to be able to get into stuff while I'm doing artwork, because she does not get into stuff no other time other when I am doing artwork. And I don't want her interrupting the video and where I have to go and chase after her and stuff because she's into something, because I'm not paying her attention, because she's attention needy, because she's still a baby. And but that's that Siamese meow that I was talking about in the other video that you kind of hear back there. She'll quit after a while. She doesn't like being up in there, and I just let her meow until she just realizes it doesn't matter. She's not getting out of there until I let her out. So she hates being in that crate because she has to be crated while I'm at work, because she gets into stuff she can't be trusted not to get into something while I'm at work. So she gets crated. So that's another reason why she doesn't like the crate. But she's perfectly okay. She's got toys and a blanket, and she's got all the comforts of the house in her crate. And she has a pretty decently sized crate, so it's not like she's cramped up in there either. So she's just fussy. She'll scream like this for a little bit and then she'll quit. I promise. You're not going to have to hear her yell through the whole video. I hope not, anyways. But she might do it. She might. My nerves won't be able to handle that if she does. She's already stopped, so we're good. She's a pretty good baby. She just likes to be where mom is. I had to clean her cat box this morning too before I did the video. It was starting to smell, so I hadn't got to change it earlier in the week like I wanted to because I had to work. So I'm very prestigious about that cat box because I do not like the smell of cat in the house. I like it to where you walk in the house and you don't know there's a cat that lives there. That's how I keep my cat box. That way you don't know there's a cat that lives here. That's another reason why I don't really like cats. They're nasty. That cat box and everything is just nasty. If she would just go out on the lead or something like how Marvin does, like my dog does, we'd be perfectly okay. I'd like to try to teach her how to do that, actually. That way I could just let her out on a tie and she could just go poop and pee out in the yard. That way I don't have to worry about a cat box ever again. Because I hate having a cat box. I hate cat boxes.
In the laundry room, investigators noticed that someone, presumably Kim, had recently painted the walls and floor. The smell was still there of the paint. You could also
My mom is going out riding today on the motorcycle, so she's not going to be coming over. So I get to have a weekend to myself. I ain't had one of those in forever, and I don't know what to do with myself. So we are just working on artwork today. When my RP partner wakes up and stuff like that, and she starts messaging me, I'll probably periodically answer her back and stuff.
The walls and floor had recently been painted and the room disinfected. Either King was a meticulous housekeeper or he had gone to a great deal of
Yes, my RP partner is a chick. I do play a guy role in our role plays. I am straight though. I'm just playing a role in a role play. So I'm enjoying our little storyline we got going so far. I'm very rusty at doing role play. I used to role play all the time when I was younger. Used to be really good at it, but I'm not so much anymore. I'm a lot rusty. So I'm glad she's real patient with me. I've had a few role play partners just kind of poof on me. Which I'm the kind of person, if you're looking for a short-term role play storyline, I'm probably not your wolf.
Was to determine whose blood. The DNA from the tiny specks on the wall.
And a lot of people don't like playing with P Lady because, well, I'm the little black bitch. I am not in the storyline I'm currently playing, though. I'm not playing myself. I'm playing an anime character.
Police soon got an unexpected break. A telephone call from one of King's friends who had suspected King was involved in.
Which I have great moments of brain farts and trying to keep the male character within his character and how he acts and personality and stuff like that. And with the role play we're doing, it gets on the borderline a little bit, but it ends up kind of like meshing and fitting and working out okay. So I'm not worried about it. I just have awkward moments, and where I do it on my phone, I have to go back and spell check everything because my autocorrect is the devil. I hate autocorrect with so much passion that burns within me. Well, a lot of times I just use the Chromebook, which is what I'm using to make the video with. While it has Android system on it, which I despise Android. Sorry for the people out there who love the Android operating system. No offense if you love it. That's fine. To each our own. Everybody likes what they like. I personally do not like the Android system. I find it very hateful and stubborn. And I fight with it quite a bit on the Chromebook because it doesn't like to let me delete stuff because it's an asshole. And you don't have that problem with Windows or Apple. Only with Android. So, but that being said, that's the only issue I really have with the Android operating system. My Chromebook is an HP Chromebook. And I love it as a companion laptop because it's small. I can put it in my purse. I can take it on the go with me. It's great. And I have it decorated with stickers from my Redbubble shop, which if you want to check that out, you can go to Redbubble and look up P Lady Wolf. A lot of the artwork there is digital. Sorry if you're looking for traditional. It's hard for me to get my traditional art cleaned up enough to where it translates good on products, because a lot of times I can't get them photographed good to begin with, so it's harder for me to have traditional media like this on merchandise. So you'll have my CD Lee Weird digital art available for that, which I've got skirts, I got leggings, I've got journals, I got notebooks, stickers, dresses, clocks. I got all kinds of things like greeting cards, posters, prints. And everything's pretty reasonable. especially my prints and my stickers.
Patricia
Like,
believes Norman
you
faked
can,
his own death to
my
avoid
stickers,
a
I think for the
drug-related
small ones are like
confrontation.
$2 and something. It's not bad.
As prosecutors
I have
prepared
my
for the
Toxic
trial,
Fame one
they had
right
another
here
challenge,
where it has the
persuading
energy
their
saving
primary
sticker on
witness
the
to testify.
Chromebook. I have the Toxic Foam, which is my wolf right here by my little mouse pad. And it's pretty awesome. I was very pleased with my stickers. I actually bought them just to see if the quality was there, and because I wasn't really sure of Redbubble's quality, even though I've had a Redbubble store for a few years and stuff like that. But I would definitely, the stickers are really good. I was very pleased with the quality of them and very happy with how well the one I've used on my laptop has held up with all the use I've put on it so far. And they're good. They're great. I've got some cute ones on there. I've got one that has a little wolf with her butt up in the air. She's got a little derpy look on her face. I've got Toxic Foam, which is my wolf. I've got several of P Lady. There's Cicero, which is just a standard she's a tri-gray colored wolf standing. She's actually one of my relief characters, one of many that I use for different role plays. She was originally designed for a role play on DeviantArt, which her character application got denied because I couldn't get one part of the application right for some reason to meet their qualifications. Even when I had somebody else try and alter it and have a stab at it, because I just couldn't understand what the hell I was doing wrong on that part of the application, because I just had no clue. And then finally I just gave up and said, fuck it. Excuse my language, but yeah, fuck it. If I have to go through that much shit just to get into a role play group, then yeah, no. When it becomes too much of a headache for me and it isn't fun, no, I won't do it. I do have a role play going that's based around purgatory, which is rather dark, and a lot of people aren't really sure how to approach that. I have it as I have Purgatory Inner Demons Amino, which we do have an art fight going for the 2019. So if you haven't checked that out, you may want to. Right now, it's just me and Kira Rami going back and forth with each other. Nobody else is really, even though they've signed up for the teams and stuff like that, they haven't participated in the actual fight. But Kira Rami and I have, and she's like my little sister, man. I love her to death. I met her on Amino 2 years ago, and we've been just close ever since. Used to do a lot of artwork for her when I had time. I always drew her wolf until she changed her design, which is cool. I like the new design, but I really liked her old one better because to me it was simple, and it fit her better, I think, than the newer design. But it isn't my character or alter ego, so. But yeah, I've drawn her a lot. She has a lot of characters I've designed that she owns. I've done a lot for the little gal. She's really cool. And stuff. She's not on Amino a lot, and we don't get to talk as much as we used to. Like I say, work and school on her end, and school, and I think she has a job too. With me, it's my work. My work is what interferes with a lot of my socializing anymore, because it seems like the only time I socialize is when I'm with my co-workers. And I love my co-workers to death. I work with some of the nicest, sweetest people. And I said some, not all of them. I want to stress that, not all of them. But the majority of them are like family to me. Especially Julie, my boss, because she is like mommy to everybody, and she is such a sweet person. She's got such a pure soul, and I love her to death. She is the sweetest lady.
his own death.
One of the sweetest ladies I have ever met. And I think the world of her. But I'm fortunate that most of my coworkers are actually good people. We've lost a lot. Like I lost a good buddy of mine that worked down there. He tired of the bullshit and getting screwed over by somebody else within the company, and he had enough. I guess you had enough of it. I understood the reasons. If I was in his shoes, I probably would have done the same thing. To be honest, I have done the same thing. I'll take that back. I have done the same thing. I'm sitting here not even at my desk that I have down here to do art on. Instead of sitting over there where I could be comfortable in a chair and have room to place all my art supplies and film, I'm sitting on the couch because I don't want to sit over there sit at the desk. Which my art desk that I have down here, I have 2 art desks. I have one that is a legit one with tilts and stuff, and that's up in my safari room because I'm going to turn it into a miniature studio upstairs, which I'll probably never use, but that's the goal. And then I have the antique desk, secretary desk down here that is absolutely stunning that my uncle gave me. I love it to death. It has all kinds of places to put stuff, and to me that's important because I like to have a butt ton of crap around on my desk. Which I'm trying not to do that because the whole point is not to clutter it up, which can happen with me very quickly because that's just how I can be sometimes. I switched back from Ohuhu markers to Prisma back to Ohuhu markers because the Ohuhu markers and Prisma pencils do very well together. Like the Ohuhu markers will blend the pigments of the Prisma pencils very good to where you don't have a lot of white noise. As you can see, there's not a lot of white noise on this. The commissioner, I think she thought I was just going to do her a sketch and stuff, but I told her, I said, no, you wanted it in color. I'm assuming, I said, since you sent me a colored picture of the characters and stuff instead of just a sketch. I said, had you just wanted a sketch, you would have just sent me a sketch to go by. And she's like, oh, okay, you're going to color it too. I said, well, yeah, you wanted... I said, I assume when you commissioned that you wanted color too. I said, so I've got color going on it already. I'm not sure how much she's looking to spend, but I'm going to try to be fair because she may not have a lot of money. She seems like a young person, so I know young people a lot of times don't tend to have a lot of cash on them. I try to be fair with people sometimes, but I gotta make a profit too, because when I do commissions for people, I use high-end stuff. Like I'm using my Prisma pencils, my Ohuhu markers. Eventually I probably have, when my new watercolors come in and I feel confident with watercolor, I may do some watercolor commissions too. I've done them in the past with the Rodney Dowler set that I have, but it took me forever to get the pieces to look halfway good the way I wanted them because of the paint just being student grade. It was terrible. So I'm hoping my koi set will be better for me. I know it ain't no Winsor & Newton set or anything like that, but like I said, I can't afford that right now because that's kind of out of what my price range will allow me to afford at the moment and stuff, until money's a little better, which money's never better for me. It's just, it's like I never have it. Never have stuff extra.
Carl Dole
I
was
used commission
outraged
money to
by
pay
his
for my
ex-wife's
watercolor
accusation
set that's
and
coming in.
demanded to
So
be given a polygraph
commissioning
test.
me helps me replace my art supplies, and if I get enough commissions in and make enough, then it will help me maybe pay a bill or two or something like that. You know, stuff like that actually helps me, and in return, you guys get something. And when you do that, commission me and stuff like that, not only are you helping me, helping making my life just a tiny bit easier, tiny bit. I mean, it's a whole lot, tiny bit easier. But you also get something really cool in return. If you do my traditional commissions, you do get the original artwork sent to you. Just a heads up, you do get the original artwork. Because I have no use for it. So, and I love doing traditional stuff because you can put this in a frame and you can hold it and you can pass it down in your family or whatever. Digital art to me, not knocking digital art, but I mean, the original you can never hold because it was done on a computer. No offense, but I mean, that's just the way I see it. And I'm sure people can argue with me on that, and that's cool. You're entitled to that. But I just, it never takes the place of the traditional artist or artwork. There's just some things you can't replace. Yeah, you can have a print of it and stuff like that, but that's all you'll ever have of the digital art piece is a print. Because it was done on a computer or a tablet or a phone in some cases.
Also checked the local cemetery where his father was buried, but nothing was found.
But something that is hand drawn on a piece of paper or Bristol or something like that, that's something you can hold. You can frame it. You can put it in the house, and you can have it for years and years and years and years. You don't have to worry about having it reprinted and such, or keeping it on a file because it was done on a computer. And I'm not knocking digital art. I mean, it is aesthetically more pleasing to look at because it's neater. And you can do a lot more effects on a computer with, you know, making a piece look really dynamic and dimensional and really badass. But you can also do that with traditional art supplies if you know what you're doing. It just takes longer to do it. Anything you can do on a computer, just about you can do with traditional media. It's just the steps to do it is longer and takes a while and takes time. But I've seen some traditional pieces that rival digital pieces quite a bit.
He said his statements were twisted into an admission
Because the artist that drew them is quite amazing. And I have to be careful here because if I don't pay attention to what I'm doing, I'm going to color in the wrong part to the wrong wolf, and we'll have an issue. There's so many little legs going different ways. You know, if you know what I mean. I have to make sure I don't get the boy wolf's legs right here. That's because this is her leg right here. And his legs are right there in his tail, so I'm trying not to, yeah, you know what I'm trying to do. Not get the body parts mixed up. And a lot of these guys are brown in color, so I'm going to have to try to do different tone variations with brown. And it's going to be hard because this gal here and this gal here are very similar in freaking color. So it's going to be interesting. But I got some different shades of brown in my Prisma set that I can use, I think, especially in my 36 set that I have.
4-year-old Laura Hoagland gets a care from her Bethesda home. Her family tells reporters they believe they know what happened to her.
Oh, gosh. It's too early for this stuff. I have Forensic Files playing in the background, if y'all are wondering. I love stuff like that. I like watching it. It's interesting. These are about old case files, which I've watched them all before. I just have it on for background noise.
Her killer left behind few clues. He had done an unusually thorough job of cleaning up the crime scene.
I was going to watch an anime, but I figured I'd want to sit and watch the anime and not do artwork, so I just put on something that I've watched before. That way I don't pay attention to it, and it's just there for noise, for company.
But he made one mistake.
because this is a different shade of brown on the Ohuhu
It
markers.
wasn't
This is a
It was from a
104
wig.
brown I
The
used on
Hoteling's
her.
gardener, 30-year-old Hatton Clark,
Um,
was a known cross-dresser.
He had mental problems. We also discovered the
And then I'm going to switch over to the WG1
The wig hair in Laura
for the
Hoteling's
inside of the
hairbrush
ears.
matched the wig found in Hatton Clark's
This marker
possession.
here is about had it. I've used it quite a bit.
Investigators believe that after
Like
killing
both
Laura
ends of it
Hoteling,
have about
Hatton Clark
bits of
dressed
dust
in
on me.
women's clothing,
Like all my gray
put on
ones
her
are like
wig,
dying on
and
me.
left the scene of
My
the crime in
brown
broad
tone
daylight
ones,
without creating
because you can
any
tell which colors I use the most
Hatton
of.
Clark was
And
convicted of Laura Hoteling's murder.
when I first got these, I did a lot of experimentation with Prisma pencils with them and everything else, and really put them through the ringer
We've heard this name before. This was a guy
because I
that we were
wanted
looking
to.
at, who lived in the house where Michelle Dorr was last supposed to have been seen or have gone. And so at that point, they started really pressing.
And I realized something. I screwed the eye color up on this one wolf. I just was looking at the reference.
Hatton Clark
So I looked at the wrong wolf yesterday. But it's okay because it's an easy fix.
His niece, Elizabeth,
It's a good thing that I
was
used the
Michelle's
marker
playmate.
underneath on this. That way I can just put the blue over
When
top of it
Michelle
and
first
it,
disappeared,
voila, we're fixed.
Hatton Clark told him about his
See,
whereabouts
even I
that
make
day.
mistakes. And that was a major one because this is the one with the green eyes.
During his interrogation,
As I said, I got the
should
two
have
chick
aroused
wolves there. The
police
two brown
suspicion.
chick wolves, I got them mixed up with each other because they're right beside each other.
Hatton Clark confessed
She
to
has
the
the blue
murder of
eyes, so I had to fix
23-year-old
that. It's a good thing I
Laura
looked at the
Hoteling.
reference and just
He
like
denied
caught it.
having anything to do with the
Shit like that
of
happens.
Michelle
It
Dorr.
does.
But on the day
It was,
Michelle
there was the one little
disappeared,
girl on the end that
police
had the
discovered that
green
Clark
eyes. So I've got that
was
fixed now,
alone in
thank
his mother's
goodness.
home, just 2
I
doors
am
away from
stupid
Michelle's home.
sometimes.
He was packing his things since his brother had kicked him out because of what he called inappropriate behavior with the children.
I don't. It doesn't bother me to admit that I have moments of ignorancy myself. Everybody does, I think, at one point in time. I think it's just where I was so tired yesterday, I just didn't really pay attention. Or I thought that I was looking at the correct one and
Police questioned
stuff when I did the eye
Clark,
color and I was looking at the wrong
asked him if
one.
he
That
knew anything about Michelle's
that
disappearance.
can happen to anybody. But like I said, it's fixed now, so it doesn't matter. It's a good thing that I used a green marker. That way I just took that blue Prisma over top of it and bam, fixed. I'm using another brown Ohuhu marker. Right now I'm using the Ohuhu markers and I'm just building my layers, and then I go in with my Prisma pencils and I do the details to where it comes out looking like that. And this one, she's got her paw over the border frame and stuff because I like having a dynamic and dimensional thing like that. And I have this little guy's head coming like out of the frame and her leg coming out of the frame. I like how this makes this piece look dynamic and like they're, you know, it kind of makes no sense for her back leg to be there, but the border frame kind of comes right here, so her ass is kind of like out of the border frame. It would have looked better if it had been one of the front legs. As most people would probably want to point that out, but it's okay. And I have his head out of the frame, so kind of looks cool because she's like the main one, like in the foreground. Like I had her in the foreground. Did I use references? I did gently reference for posing, but that's it. I mean, like I glanced at a reference, and that was it. Closed it out of Pinterest, and that was it. Like I didn't just sit there and stare at the pose and do it verbatim. I just like glanced at it. Oh, okay, that looks about like what I had in mind, and I just glanced that way I could make sure I got the body positioned correctly, and that was about it. Because sometimes I don't get the back end of the body positioned right, so that was really what I was just glancing at to see how the back end of the body was positioned with that certain pose. And while I remember how to do a lot of poses and a lot of angling and all of that without ever having to use reference, sometimes I double check just to make sure that I get it remotely in the ballpark. I tend not to really rely on references much because I don't like using them a lot because it's a crutch. To me, it's a crutch. because a lot of times when I draw, I don't have internet access and stuff like that. So it's good just to be able to draw from memory. You draw something enough, you shouldn't have to really reference it. You're drawing something you've never drawn before. Yeah, you got to reference that shit and make sure it looks legit. But, I draw wolves predominantly all the time and canines. So if I can't get the basics of that down just by out of memory, there's something wrong with me. Because I predominantly draw canines. But I've always predominantly done canines, if I think about it. I have done other animals. And I do, if I'm doing another animal or something that I don't do on a daily basis, I do gently reference and several photos and stuff like that and study the photos. I like to study things a lot so that I can, and I'll keep like one reference. That way I can just look at how the structure is and run with it. Because sometimes I get to draw stuff that I've never even done before. But it's rare. It's mostly like dogs, wolves, foxes, jackals, hyenas, and stuff like that. And it's all basic knowledge for me because I've done canines so much. The bedroom was only 7 by 10 feet. It had no rugs. I'm unsure of how a breed looks and stuff, then I'll look it up. Unfortunately, it had been sanded and refinished with, but I'm not one of those people who use references a lot. And I understand a lot of artists use them to improve and get better. And yeah, it does help you get better. But if you use them all the time, too, it also becomes a crutch because then you can't draw without looking at a reference. And you should be able to do artwork without looking at a reference. That's the whole goal of getting better and everything, is to be able to draw certain things without having to reference if you draw it enough. Because at that point in time, you should actually have that basic anatomy memorized. I love how my cat just randomly just starts yowling. She's hating me right now, but she'll be all right. She's just grumpy. Forensic scientist Susan Ballou used Q-tips to swab the side of each seam of every floorboard. The Q-tips were rinsed with phenol saline. I'm just taking the marker I used earlier with a chisel tip, where I used fine point earlier. I'm using the chisel tip. It's wanting to pull the pigment up where the color pencil's on there. That will happen too, I've learned. But you can see it kind of also blends it too, to where it gets rid of that harsh seam. But it does some strange stuff, and it can look muddied if you don't watch it like it's trying to do there, and kind of is looking and doing there. But it's okay because, you got to build your layers. You got to build your layers. And you can see how long it just takes just to build layers and work and play and stuff. Because I will take Prisma back over this. I also kind of take a pause break here to kind of let the hoo-hoo dry. That way it isn't going to smudge. And kind of let it sink into the Bristol. This right here, I'm going to do the border on this black. That way all this color just is going to pop. And I think I have a Sharpie marker, one of the fat Sharpies that I haven't killed yet. Because I kill a lot of things. And take around the border, make it look really nice. Sign it with white ink. Prosecutors believe that after Carl Dorr went inside to make lunch, Michelle left the pool to look for her friend Elizabeth. I'm drinking orange juice. I'll have a fun one after this one. Because I remember I said I thought I had one left to do for the company. Well, I got two. And the other one is also a traditional media one. But I'm going to do it on toned paper. I've got toned gray paper. And I'm going to actually use it use that because it's going to be small paper. Well, I think it's about the size of this paper, this Bristol actually.
Patton killed Michelle in the
And
upstairs
there's a local girl who
then
had put a commission in. I actually forgot about it because we were still ironing out the details.
probably removed Michelle's body
Sometimes that
from a
takes a few
duffel
days
bag
to
they
do
were
with the
saw him
client,
carrying when moving out.
which is okay because it gives me time to work and finish this one. The logo I got to do, I can predominantly do that digitally, and I can knock that out pretty quick because it's just shapes and stuff like that. It's not like I'm having to draw something detailed like this. Well, it has to be detailed, but it's like simple things, if you know what I mean, like triangles and stuff like that. And because it's a sleek design for a company, so it you got to be precise with everything, but at the same time, it's going to be very simple but very clean design, which is what a logo is supposed to be. It's supposed to catch your attention. But anyway, the other traditional one that's in is it's going to be a unicorn. So, and it's been a hot second since I've drawn a horse. So I used to draw horses quite a bit, but I haven't drawn a horse in a while. So this will be interesting because I'm sure I'm going to have the horse anatomy off. But that's to be expected because I don't draw them all the time. But I'll get it to look pretty cool. And plus, where it's a unicorn, I can play with the anatomy a bit because it's a unicorn. It's not a real horse. So I've got leeway to kind of play a little bit. So, and I'm going to use that tone paper because it will make the bright colors that's going to be in the mane and the tail and such really stand out. And it also, most people, when they think of a unicorn, they think, a white unicorn. Well, I'm not going to do it no differently. I'm going to do the standard white unicorn because I'm sure this is what the commissioner has in mind, is a white unicorn, because it's for her daughter, who is a small child. It's for her room. It's just cool. I love when parents, order custom artwork off artists to decorate the room, and the little girl seems very excited about having a custom piece. So it is very exciting to do it. And I love doing art for kids like that. I've done several pieces for my nephew. He's asked me to draw him deer and stuff like that. And one year, I did my other little nephew, not Braden, but Bradley. It's confusing because they both their names start with a V. But Bradley, he lives closer to me actually than Braden does. My other one, Braden. But yeah, I did one year. I did Bradley a portrait. He's a sportsman too. He likes to do conservation and hunt. And the story of his first hunt was kind of sad because nobody should do that to a child. He went bow hunting, which crossbow up here is legal to hunt with because he isn't able to pull back a compound bow. So he took his mom's crossbow or his grandpa's crossbow, and he was after this. I think it was a nice 6-point buck, which is good for somebody's first deer. I mean, he wasn't a shabby looking buck at all. He was actually pretty darn big for the pointage he was. But anyway, the little guy, he pulled an okay shot. I won't say the best shot, but okay shot. And he still got his deer, but the thing of it is, while they were waiting for the deer to expire, give him some time to go and expire, and then when they went to go look for him, which is traditionally what most do, they found the how somebody had field dressed the buck out and had took Bradley's deer. So that was pretty uncool of some adult to do that to a child because it was his first hunt, his first deer, his first buck ever, and they took his meat and everything that he harvested for his family. So it was pretty sad, but
Miguel
they-
Roque met his wife on a
his mom
beach
commissioned
in
me
Cuba.
to
The couple moved
draw
to
the
Miami,
picture
Florida
because
in
his grandpa, I
1991,
guess,
where
they
their
had
first child, a daughter.
taken a quick snap of when he shot the buck and had the buck jumping in the air and stuff like that, you know, like he's kicking out. You didn't know really he was shot in the picture. You couldn't really tell. The picture was bad because it was blurry. Very blurry. It's probably one of the worst pictures I have ever worked off of doing a portrait. I will say this, it was the worst picture I've ever worked from to do a portrait piece because it had Bradley and his grandpa in it and all that, and there were some other elements in the photo too, which wasn't all there in the picture. So I had to draw from memory and all of that, and which made it difficult. It was all done with a Ticonderoga pencil on an 18 by 24 sketch paper. I think it took me a week to do it, and it turned out better than the picture, the photograph. And I was very proud of that piece, especially that plaid shirt that was a freaking nightmare to do. That was the nightmare, was that plaid shirt that Gordon had on. And but they had it framed, and he was so happy to get that for Christmas. And they had it framed, and it hangs in their living room and stuff. And he's very, very, very proud of that. And the reason that was commissioned was because he lost his deer, and he wanted something to remember that moment in time and stuff like that. So thus come about that commission of that portrait, and it captured that memory of him with his grandpa out there taking a beautiful animal that they intended on using for food until somebody decided to be a nasty human and steal it from this little kid and stuff. But it just captured a really good moment. And that's the thing about artwork, you know, it can catch a moment like that, a moment in time. And it's a memory. It's always there when you look up at it and stuff. And you just like, I remember that, you know. It builds memories, brings families together and stuff. I mean, art does all kinds of stuff. Which ironically, my sister friend, little Foxy, who I draw as a little deadpan looking fox all the time, she doesn't do bad artwork either. She likes to paint with acrylics. And she does really, really freaking awesome landscapes. Like, I envy her because she can paint landscapes, and I can't paint landscapes for shit. And I am not afraid to admit that. Like, I can't paint landscapes worth of shit. I can't even paint them following Bob Ross. Okay, that's bad. That is bad. It's like, yeah. My commissioner, that is the local girl, I went to high school with her. So she's probably younger than me by a year or two, which some people know how old I really am, and some people on the internet do not. To look at me, you will think I'm 20. But I guarantee you, I am not 20. I wish I was. I haven't seen 20 in a long time. I wish I was 20 again. I would probably feel a lot better and have a lot more drive than what I do. But it's cool because she still has art I did for her back in high school. Like, it wasn't bad. My art then wasn't bad. I think I did a lot of different things. When I was a lot younger, I drew a lot of anime. I did like a lot of animals and everything like that. And I seemed like I was better artist then than I am now, which people will argue with me on that. But I look back at my old artwork, I don't really see atrocity. I see that I stepped out of my box a whole lot all the time. And it seems like anymore, the older I've got, I just stay in a box. And I don't want to step outside that box for some odd reason. And I feel that it has dulled my skill I guess.
9 times at once.
To me, it does. To other people, they say, you know, my art's fantastic. I do good. But the funny thing of it is, I don't have a big following like everybody thinks I do. I'm like not a popular. I'm not a popular artist. Shit, I can't talk this morning. I'm not a popular artist at all. My following is very small, and a lot of times my art don't get noticed. I mean, I'm just being honest. The truth is sometimes strange, but that's the truth of it. Everybody thinks that I have a lot of followers, that, you know, it isn't hard for me to get commissions, that it, you know, if I had a Patreon, people would so support it. No, they don't, because I've had a Patreon. I had a Patreon for 4 years, and nobody, even when I was able to do tiers and offer full shit, nobody contributed to it. So I ended up deleting my Patreon, which I have coffee or whatever the heck that place is where you can buy a coffee to support an artist or creator. I have one of those, and like the Patreon, nobody wants to contribute to it, which you can contribute to it if you want to, because I post stuff on it all the time. So you can check out my gallery and everything, and I update it, and it's kind of like a mix between Facebook and like Twitter, kinda. It's a strange hybrid, but you can support creators and stuff on there by buying them a coffee or whatever. And it's totally optional. We can set goals and stuff, and you can support the goal and stuff like that, which everybody was wanting me to do the Purgatory webcomic and stuff like that. And I do have a goal set up on that site that if I reach the $300 mark, I will do the webcomic. Nobody's contributed to it, so that's why I haven't done anything with the webcomic. I'm not going to give everything to my audiences for free. I shouldn't have to. Other artists do not. So, I mean, I'm no different than anybody else out there who's doing cool stuff. It's just that my stuff just happens to be different from their stuff. You know what I mean? We're all different. I'm not going to do the same thing as one artist is going to be doing, which all artists seem to do similar things, and those are the successful artists. But, excuse me, the thing about art is to march to the beat of your own drum and not be like other people. And just because somebody's artwork is different or they're a different kind of artist does not mean that you shouldn't support them. You should. Because we all work hard on what we do regardless of the genre that we draw. I do predominantly werewolves, anime wolves. I do horror-based artwork, some weird out there stuff. I mean, there's some stuff you would, if you looked at it, you wouldn't think that it was something that I created. I'll just put it that way, because it isn't a piece that most people would associate with my artist name. But I assure you, I have done some very odd stuff. I do portrait work and everything else. I am a pretty well-rounded artist, to be honest with you. I have a few vices that, you know, are curves for me, but, you know, I like a challenge sometimes, and if I honestly can't do something, I'll tell you I can't do it. I'm not going to sit there and say, yeah, I can do this. I can do this. I'm going to make this look bomb. You know, I will say I can try. And when I try and I work at it and I work at it and I work with it and I work with it, and then I finally just figure out that I can't do it, I'm honest and upfront with the person. I'll be like, hey, look, I can't really pull this off. Maybe you should go to this person because perhaps they can pull this off better than I can. Or, you know, something like that. I mean, I'm not just going to take somebody's money and be like, oh yeah, I can do this, and then give them something that's crap because I couldn't pull it off. I'm not like that. Because I wouldn't want somebody to be like that with me, you know? So I tend to treat people the way I myself would like to be treated and how I would like to be dealt with when doing business with somebody. And when you do it that way, you can't go wrong. And you have to remember, your commissioners are people too. They may not just want to talk to you just strictly about the commission. They may want to chit chat and get to know you as a person, and that's perfectly fine. I have no problems with that. I'm a very chatty person, and I like to talk. I'm not even going to lie on that. And I'm easy to talk to. Just sometimes the conversation will get weird and awkward because I don't know what to say. I don't know how to take compliments. When people compliment me, I don't know how to take that. So a lot of times that will make me go quiet, because it's not because I don't like the compliment, it's because I don't know how to react to it. So I'm kind of like that in real life too. So it's not like, it's just, I'm a strange wolf. I'm a strange wolf.
By law, all firearms sold in the United States.
I don't know how to take compliments on my artwork. I'll just put it that way. I can take critique, but I can't take compliments, which is a strange thing because I'm not used to getting complimented on my work. I know that sounds weird, but yeah, I'm not used to it. The Yahoo markers did something very strange on her face, and I don't know if I like that or not. Kind of looks like she's got like a muddied face, and I'm sitting here and trying to fix that. It's bothering me, and I want this to look really good. So I will work with something until I get it to the way I think that it needs to be looking, and I am happy with it. I don't care if I have to rub the paper off of itself. I'll make it look nice. I'm excited about getting my watercolor set. I'm super happy about them. They're coming from Canada, so I can't wait to get them so I can play with them. I'm gonna have to get some watercolor paper though. I know my Canson paper, it's an all media. It will handle watercolor to an extent, and Bristol will to an extent too before it starts to buckle. Like this off brand that I'm using here, which all Bristol's pretty much the same, but this is an off brand that I got on sale at AC Moore because it's smaller paper. But I have the Strathmore, and even the Strathmore will buckle under a lot of water.
We also brought the form to our question document section.
It's kind of like cardstock, and it will buckle under too much water.
Investigators discovered
Walmart used to sell cold pressed paper by Strathmore, and I used to buy it all the time to work with my student grade set because, I was practicing, and I wanted to see if I liked watercolor enough to invest in something nice and better. And oh poopy, I lost my little black pencil. And like I said, I've had my Rodney Dowler set since 2013, and I still have them. It's 2019 now. Almost all the little half pans are almost all gone. You can tell the colors I use the most from the ones I don't. The hot colors in the palette are the ones that use the less, like the yellows and oranges and reds. But all the other colors are like almost gone. Like you can tell what color palettes I like working with by just how my pencil sets look, my marker sets look, and my acrylic paints, which I haven't done an acrylic paint in a while. The last acrylic painting I did, I was trying to do a landscape tutorial off of Pinterest, and that didn't end well. It looks okay, but at the same time, I don't like it because I think I overworked it, and it became muddy. And then I just threw a random wolf shadow in it, just to try to break up the fact that I screwed the whole thing up, and I just wanted to paint over it and just start again, which isn't a bad idea because I think it looks like caca. But I already put Fixodent on it. Somebody would probably like it as a whimsical, semi-abstract piece, I guess. Like, it's not a bad piece, but it's just not something. It's just not something that anybody would suspect that I did. I'll just be done with saying that. I may do art in the park this year. I want to, but I don't want to pay for the booze. That's terrible, isn't it? Well, because they charge you, I think, like $40. And I think you can have like maybe 5 or 6 pieces of artwork actually there. And you have to have business cards and everything. And people can sit there and take. Like, to me, I think I should be able to have more than like 5 or 6 pieces of art to try to sell. Because it's hard for me to sit there and go through that stack and pick the pieces I think that would sell. And I live in a redneck area, so a lot of what I do isn't going to appeal to the audiences that live around here. Like, people around here would like log cabin and wildlife folk art, I guess. Folk art. Folk art's good. Good way to term it. And I don't draw folk art. So I don't think that my pieces would do very well. But then again, I could be wrong. I've never went and done art in the park. I wanted to, but never been able to because I've always had to flipping work. And I didn't, that one year I wanted to go, I didn't have the extra money to waste on such a thing anyway. People ask if I've been to conventions or anything like that, like Anthrocon or anything like that. I've never been to a convention a day of my life because no job I've ever worked would let me have time off to go do anything like that. And I never had the extra money to rent a booth and do any of that stuff. So no, I've never been to a con. I've never, like I said, if I had probably a lot of support off of a Patreon or the coffee site, I could probably pull off going to an Anthrocon or something like that. But without the extra funds, there's just no way I can just pull that out of my paycheck. Absolutely no way I could. I just don't make enough. And that's the reality of it. And some people, they split the costs and go together. I don't have nobody to go with. So, I mean, hell, it would just be everything coming out of my own happy pocket. And I just don't have the extra funds to go do that. I would love to go do a con one year, but right now, as it sits, I just don't see it happening. I don't see it happening ever because I'm not going to ever have the funds to do it.
He was also charged with the attempted murder of the other four.
But maybe I need to reapproach how I market myself too. Maybe I'm not marketing myself good enough for the public to want to be interested in what I do. And I've thought about that too, but I don't know really what more I can do to market myself correctly when I see other people do it so many different variations in different ways, because I don't want to be like everybody else. But at the same time, I want to be able to maybe go back doing my artwork full time. And then if I did that, I could stay booked with commissions. And, of course, I'd take some time to do some personal pieces because you do commissions all the time. You get burnt out on that stuff. Sometimes you do have to take a break from commissioning. And that's why you do some very killer personal pieces that you can make into prints and merchandise, and you still keep your flow. That's what a lot of the artists do, is they make prints and merchandise. That way they keep the money flowing in when they have downtimes. I do know that secret of it.
There's a ladder that led to the top of the building. He must have scurried down in the confusion.
And a lot of them will have their merchandise sent to them in bulk. That way they ship it straight from their house. You pay them through PayPal and they ship it straight from their house to you. I don't have money to invest in merch like that. And I know I would just be having all this merch laying around in the house and probably wouldn't be able to move it because I'm terrible at being able to get support and stuff. And it's just, it's not that I'm bad at it, because like I do a pretty good turnover when it comes to my orders, and I'm very reputable. I've always had a very good reputation on my any client that's ever dealt with me has always been super happy with how good it is. And like, I had one client that wasn't happy with anything I did, so I refunded them their money back, and I still sent them the artwork, even though I just couldn't. They were so picky, I just couldn't get it. I just couldn't get it to where they were happy with it. I mean, and it wasn't my problem. You get clients that are difficult like that, and it's like no matter what you do, you can't please them. And when it gets to like that, you're just better off refunding them their money and sending them what you have, even if they don't like it. And people ask me to if I do not say for work stuff, adult-based artwork. Yeah, hell yeah, I do adult-based
Doug
artwork.
Zamora and Ray
I
Kroc
used to do strictly
survived
nothing
their
but
injuries. Doug's arm was almost
porn
amputated,
art.
but
That's what I
doctors were
call
able
it, porn
to
art,
save
the
it.
prawn.
The shooting changed the victims.
I used to
Doug
be
Zamora
known
quit
for
his
that.
job at the
That's
factory
why I had the
and went to
nickname for the
law
longest time
enforcement.
as a smut
He
puppy.
now works as a corrections officer.
Because that's all I did draw was smut.
George Musa, impressed by
I got
the
burned out
teens
drawing
who
nothing
responded
but
to the
smut
shooting,
though, because
also
that's
quit his
all I
job
got commissioned to
and
do
is training
was
to become a medic.
sexual content.
Mansell
And
believed that
that's
by
around the
scratching
time I
the
really
serial number
took
from his
my
weapon,
hiatus
he
away
would
from
remove all traces
internet.
of ownership.
And that's what really hurt me when I did that. I should have never done that. I should have just stuck with it and just toughed it out and not lost my place in the art world like I did. But you know what? I was young and I was friggin' stupid. And I was just tired of doing commissions for people, and I just wanted, because I never had time to do my personal artwork, and I was just getting to where I couldn't, my art orders was getting sloppy. And not only that, not only was the art getting sloppy, but and it looked rushed, but I didn't have no desire to do commissions anymore for people because I was just burnt out on it, doing the same thing. And that's the thing about it too on commissions. If I get commissioned to do the same thing over and over again, and I feel like I'm drawing the same thing over and over and over again, I get burnt out on it quick. And it used to not be like that when I was younger, obviously, because I'd turn out smut like it was nothing. But then I started realizing that a lot of the drawings I was being commissioned to do was all too similar to ones I'd done prior for other people. And stuff. I mean, I just got burnt out. Like, it happens. You have to physically sometimes take a rest from doing commissions for people and just relax and do stuff for yourself. And that's what I try to do from time to time, is I try to do stuff for myself and then still meet my client demands and stuff like that, which I've gotten better with doing it because I'm older and I've figured out and learned a few things over the years that I didn't know when I was young, you know? And that's a learning experience. That happens. Forensic Files plays loud. Should have something playing that's not so damn loud in the background, right? Y'all probably don't want to listen to murder in the background. Or murder case files or whatever.
Not far from the shores of Loon Lake.
Probably should put like something like Sugar Rush or something like that on. I don't sit and think that people may not want to be into forensic stuff like I'm kind of into. Like, I like watching it. It's interesting. Me and my grandma used to watch stuff like this together all the time, and I got liking watching stuff like that from her. So it's just something that we like to do. We like to watching cold case files and stuff like that. It's just fascinating on how they go about to solve cases and stuff like that. It's just interesting.
After school
But
on April 20th, 1999, Kelly Jo got off her school bus and walked down this path.
I feel like this one got muddy.
Just as she always did.
And it's like no matter what I'm
Jo was
doing
the
to it,
first
it's just
one home that day. Her mother and sister were expected
being
later.
The rule in the family
an
was
ass.
everyone needed to be home. And
That's why I'm taking so much time on it, is because I keep having blunders with it. It's like,
And then we had our family time.
I don't know, man.
16-year-old Jamie was the next family
It's
member to arrive
irritating,
home.
mother.
When she opened the door, she saw
Mother.
evidence of a burglary and something far worse. Jamie immediately called her mother at work and then police.
I realized that there was something wrong and she wasn't telling me.
I think it's about max to what my Bristol paper's going to handle. I'm sitting here layering. Poor Bristol papers are like, stop.
It's just looking at lifting something like this.
Just stop
Kelly Jo was dead.
rubbing me to death.
left chest area.
I just want it to read well. It doesn't read well because I don't have a hard outline on this, if y'all haven't noticed. I'm working with pencil lines only, so it's got to be crisp. Or you're going to have a muddied image and you're not going to be able to tell nothing about it.
I've got two kids of my own. If somebody this occurred to one of my children.
It doesn't help that these two chicks are saying almost similar shades of brown. It's also what's interfering with me. My role play partner has answered me back, but I'm making her wait. I'll play with her here later. She's okay. She's pretty patient. She's pretty patient, gal. I like that about her. Like, she understands that I work long hours and shit, and that sometimes I'm sitting here doing artwork and doing videos and stuff. So she's really patient about me. She just says as long as I don't blow her off for 2 or 3 days, I'm good. I told her I wouldn't do that to her. But if I couldn't have internet access or something like that, I would let her know. So, yeah. She's pretty, like I said, she's pretty lenient. She's pretty good, understanding and stuff. A lot of them aren't like that. A lot of people I've role played ain't been like that. And I think that if you're on, you should be on when they're on and role play and, all day or what have you. And I told her I'm on and off periodically. If I don't answer, it's because I'm doing something, but I will answer her back when I'm able to. So she gets it.
The small town had never had a homicide in its history.
So we good. Hell, she might even be on YouTube here watching my video. Who knows?
Sounds a little flippant, but that's the reaction.
Forensic scientists thought the blood on the steps near Callie Joe's body may have been the killer's, but forensic tests revealed it was Callie Joe's. Next, investigators hoped the killer left his fingerprints in the home, but this was another dead end.
When all the dust had settled, so to speak, all of the latent prints that we had taken out of the house were identified to family members and friends. There were no unknowns left.
One of the fingerprints found on the bathroom sink was initially difficult to identify, but later it was identified as Callie Joe Lawson's fingerprint.
It's kind of weird. I'll be real chatty and then I get real quiet. I'm used to talking and being able to focus and color at the same time because I do it at work all the time, and I did it in school a lot and stuff. So I'm just used to people watching me and just bullshitting while makes me go just a skosh slower because my mouth is running.
But until you know whose hairs to compare them to, you've got nothing.
It's not too bad.
And the hairs didn't have any root material, so they couldn't be sent for nuclear DNA testing. A neighbor reported seeing an unfamiliar man near the Larson home around the time of the murder. This is the composite sketch of the man. Another neighbor saw a black pickup truck in the area.
I also like how the marker allows me to do some, where I leave it at, I can do some really bright highlights on her. Y'all are seeing my arm as I reach forward and grab pencils and stuff because I have all this sitting on my end table in a wad. There's not really a whole lot of room on my end table because it's antique.
Exclude from the investigation.
Table was given to me.
Either, by alibi or for whatever reason.
One of the so-called dirty dozen was a convicted sex offender, Donald Blum.
That is why.
The significant fact about Blum was that he was also a suspect in the kidnapping and murder of
the gel pens I use are jelly rolls, if you're wondering. Hobby Lobby is where they're found at, and they are pretty costly. But I've had these for a while, so I'm not complaining. I have only, I think I have a little bit left in my 10, and this is my 8 one. My other one, I think, my 5 is already, well, I think I still have plenty in my 5. It's my 10 that's about dead, or is dead, or is going dead, or has, it's somewhere in that probably has died because it was the one I used the most. They're a little hateful and they don't really like the Prisma pencil. As you can tell, they don't really like to mark on them because it's the wax, it screws with the ink.
Blum denied any involvement in Callie Joe's death and said he had an alibi for the day of the murder. As winter approached in Waseca, hope faded.
November, December was a very.
People on Facebook are alive.
Everybody was very depressed.
Despite more than 30,000 pages of reports and boxes of physical evidence, investigators
That would be my
weren't
tiny
any
fox
closer to
friend.
solving the crime
Was
than the
up.
day it occurred.
My little fox A is alive and blowing my Facebook up.
I was really becoming concerned.
Oh hell, I grabbed the wrong pencil. I wanted the black and I grabbed the white one. I don't know why the hell I did that.
Police in Waseca were faced with
I wasn't
another
paying
crime
attention. Everybody's sitting
problem.
there blowing my phone off the hook. Like, oh
Burglaries
god.
in Waseca, not far from the Larson home. And the perpetrator
I'm
left
gonna answer
behind
people
some
later.
evidence, a shoe imprint
Well, I
from
was
an
trying to get on
athletic
here and
shoe,
get
which
quite a
had
bit done
distinctive
before everybody woke up
zigzag
because I
pattern.
knew I was gonna have to switch gears here. And I like to answer people back. I don't like to make people feel like they're being ignored by me because they'll be like, "Do you ever answer your messages, P lady?" Yes, but I don't like to.
As Moccasin drove past, the man abruptly changed
So
direction.
some days I just want to mentally shut down
It just
from the world.
pulls the hair out from the back of my neck.
So Moccasin stopped the man to ask a few questions. When he did, he noticed something familiar.
Marcusson was able to look down.
Alrighty, let's move on here.
Snow, and that looked like
So many brown. Like this dude's brown. This one will be blonde. This one will be a gray, dark gray black. We're looking wolf, but you got three. It's brown. I'm sick of these brown wolves.
Good reason for this guy to be walking in this neighborhood at 8 o'clock at night with a screwdriver and a flashlight in his pocket.
There's so many shades of
The man
variations
was
of freaking brown.
identified as
You do.
Lorenzo Sanchez, an illegal immigrant from Mexico. In his home, police found stolen property from several burglaries, and police couldn't help but wonder whether Lorenzo Sanchez was also the man who had killed Callie Joe Larson.
But he's like a dark brown, so I can get away with a lot on that.
Not surprisingly, with the arrest of Lorenzo Sanchez, the Waseca
And he's a darker
burglaries
brown than her.
stopped. In Sanchez's home, police found items stolen from the burglaries. They also found many compact discs, but not the ones stolen from Callie Joe Larson's home.
The orange juice has like
In the bottom
lime
of
in it.
Sanchez's
Lime and
closet,
lemon.
police found 2 CD
I like
cases.
that.
On a hunch, they were photographed and shown to Connie Larson.
Officer came over with.
I may regret this color because I can't remember what shade it is.
So I saw these, and I just want you to look at.
Yeah,
them,
that'll
just tell
work.
me if you recognize them, and I took the picture and I said, yes, those are cows.
It's like a dark golden color.
Sanchez
Yeah,
denied
that'll
the
work.
cases were stolen.
I can take a light yellow over top of it and it'll do really well.
I bought those on the store.
It had been almost a year since Callie Joe's murder, and investigators hope there may be some forensic evidence on the CD cases. The first problem was that the outside cover was vinyl.
Just getting the latent fingerprints off them is swinging to begin with. If you do get one, getting one that's a good usable, identifiable latent fingerprint is even swinging.
Nevertheless, the cases were sent to Dave Peterson for analysis.
And I got to the second to the last page of the second CD case. I opened it up and there was blonde hair laying in between the CD. Now I got a little excited about that. In fact, my heart started racing with fear. Pardon the pun.
That hair was sent for DNA testing. Next, Peterson wanted to see if there were any fingerprints on the plastic sleeves which hold the individual CDs. For that, he used a technique called called super glue fuming.
I suspended these two CD cases from a rod and then fanned out these plastic sleeves that were.
He kind of blends in with the. He kind of blends in. Oh well.
And what happens, these
I'll build up tones and highlights, and he'll stand out like them. I mean, it all looks. Well, you know how she looked there before I finished her out, so they all start out looking flat and basic.
One print on the very last sleeve of the second CD case.
And it's just where I use a lot of lighting, and this is like a goldenrod, I do believe, color.
One Peterson immediately
It's a
recognized
hoo-hoo marker. They go by numbers and stuff, but it's like it seems like it's like the goldenrod color that's in the Prismas.
At that point, I called Bob Bird.
But like I said, that's fine because it gives me a chance to use a lot. Yeah, well, the Prisma markers. Yeah, Prisma markers. I'm stupid. Prisma pencils. I had Prisma markers, and I lost them in Charleston, never to be seen again. But no, for the Prisma pencils.
Case was further confirmation. DNA test showed it belonged to Cali Joe. Despite the evidence, Sanchez denied he was involved in the murder. All the evidence proved was that Sanchez was in possession of a piece of stolen property. But police had one last piece of evidence: the two foreign hairs recovered from the Lawson crime scene. Those hairs, along with a hair sample from Lorenzo Sanchez, were sent to the forensic lab for the newest DNA test available.
Mitochondrial DNA is a specialized DNA test. If you cannot obtain results using nuclear DNA analysis, you'll fall back on mitochondrial.
I get everything caught up. I might actually do a
Mitochondria live outside the cell
draw a scene out of the role play.
for the test.
My
Each
partner and
hair
I are
sample is placed into
doing.
a vial where it changes
They'll give
form
me the
into a
excuse to
liquid.
draw humans.
The impurities are extracted, leaving only purified DNA.
Well, demons in human
Next,
form, should I say.
millions of copies are made of just the mitochondria portion and then sequenced. When completed, Dr. Holland could read the genetic code of the hairs from the crime scene.
So this particular piece of puzzle suggests that those hairs run back to Sanchez.
The question was, which Mr. Sanchez? Mitochondrial DNA is passed from a mother to her children, all of whom will therefore have the same mitochondrial DNA profile. In other words, the suspect, Lorenzo Sanchez, would have the same mitochondrial DNA as his 6 brothers and sisters. To complicate matters, Lorenzo's younger brother, Miguel, also had a police record and was in Waseca at the time of the murder. The investigation into Cali Joe's murder wasn't over yet.
So innocent is the
I am innocent of that because I did not kill her. It is an injustice what she did.
All right, but a lot of different yellows build up on that
Lorenzo Sanchez continued
with
to
the markers.
maintain
That way
his
it has a
innocence
good
in the murder of
gradation.
Cali Joe Larson,
And
even
then I'll
though
just
a
continue
CD
working,
case with
working,
Cali
working,
Joe's
working,
fingerprint
working
was discovered in Sanchez's home.
with it. I haven't decided if I'm going to
Found at the
finish
crime
this one
scene
out and
had
then
the same
off the
mitochondrial
video
DNA
for
profile as
this
Lorenzo
morning because
Sanchez.
where all of my people are like,
not positive identification.
because we're already an hour into this.
Since mitochondrial
I didn't
DNA
even
is
really pay
passed
that
from
much
a mother to
attention.
her children, all of
My
the
bad.
Sanchez siblings would have the same
But,
mitochondrial DNA profile.
Yeah.
Two of Lorenzo Sanchez's
I'm ready to try to wrap
brothers
this up here
spent
pretty
time
soon.
in Waseca. A
People
younger
have better
brother,
things to
Miguel,
do, right,
and
and watch me
older
draw all day.
half-brother, Pedro said he had an alibi, that he was in Mexico on the day of Cali Joe's murder, which checked out.
Which again, if you join my live chat and you want to talk and stuff like that, please just put a comment below and I'll respond back to you that way because, like I said, I don't have the laptop set up where I can type back to you in live chat. And it's not me being like mean or nothing. It's just I have a jank set up to do these videos. I'm not professional. I don't have professional stuff to do it with. So I have to do with what I have. So, to give you the content that some people really enjoy watching, while a lot of it just sits and never gets noticed, which is okay.
Specifically says in that conversation, the only thing that they have
Doesn't bother me none.
with me is the hair. You understand? The hair is the only thing they've got.
And Sanchez asks his sister-in-law to place the blame for Callie Joe's murder on his half-brother Pedro.
Excuse me.
Refused.
There was apparently some sibling rivalry there, and his brother Pedro had a record which included some violent offenses.
When Lorenzo Sanchez was confronted with the tape of this conversation,
Well, another reason why I may cut the video short here after I get some of this one done, or get him done, or halfway done, or whatever, so that way that my cat can get out of the crate and enjoy the day too, because she's not enjoying being up in there. Which I crate her when I make videos. I didn't yesterday, but when I got home. But she really did need to be crated because she was into everything while I was trying to film, and it made it difficult for me to focus. And therefore, there was a lot of awkward silence, and then I had people blowing my phone up, and I feel like some of them I have to answer back. So I don't like having people waiting like this morning. The texts started rolling. You heard my phone go ting 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 ting. That's all that thing does. Like legit, that's all it does.
In his confession and then in his statement after asking certificate. Well, that's when it's hard to know what you would do. But being in this place,
That, and I'm going to have to take garbage and stuff up the hill too. Because I have the trash sitting out on the porch. And I need to take it up the hill. And let my dog out to potty. He's got stinky dog farts.
She's also become an advocate for better databases to track criminals like Lorenzo Sanchez, who often slip through the cracks. Callie Joe is never far from her thoughts.
we talk about her constantly. We tell stories about her. We read her notes. She is just a part of what we're doing now today.
Without the forensic, we have nothing. This case was to live or die by the forensic evidence.
Well, it was absolutely critical. We would have not had a case without that forensic evidence. Lorenzo Sanchez would never have been convicted of the murder of Kelly Larson without it.
Yeah, I'm sorry for the quiet silence. Kind of resting my voice a little bit. And focusing, I guess, a little bit. Just kind of zoned out there in my own little world. I think I'm going to cut the video here. Because, like I said, we're an hour into it. And it's like an hour and 24 minutes and counting. But, yeah, that's what I've got so far. And I'm going to cut it off there. And I may actually come back and have do another video where I have maybe where I'm working on the background or something like that. That way I can focus on getting these wolves detailed out since so many of them are so similar in coloration and stuff. I really need to focus, and I'm realizing that now after I got her finished and I'm working on him. And so I'm gonna really have to focus on him because he's also brown and he's like a golden blonde color. So really gonna have to focus because they're all so similar. And I'm gonna go ahead and end the video here for this morning. And I do appreciate everybody who joined me for me to waste an hour of your life. And you guys have a good Saturday. Can't talk. You guys have a good Saturday morning. Bye bye.